Hey there everyone, Mazrock here, and today we'll be looking at free and cheap ways to up your DM game at the table and make your life a lot easier. Stay tuned and we'll go through them in a minute. First up, one of my favorite programs to use for campaign management is completely free, and that is Microsoft OneNote. It is, I think it was taking 20 actually that kind of got me onto it because I was using just papers and everything before. I'm a big writer and I like to write things down, but keeping that organized, I found Microsoft OneNote was fantastic with all of the tabs that you're able to use and kind of how you're able to compartmentalize everything. I found it was very user-friendly for the most part, or a quick 10-minute tutorial on YouTube got me going on everything that I needed to know about it. And since I started using it, I use it for all of my campaigns. It's an easy breakdown. I can access it on my phone, on my tablet, on my computers, wherever I am. I type something in the phone, an idea, and then I can go right to my computer and work on it later. It's very, very instant, and it keeps everything organized. That is one of the biggest lifesavers I've had as a DM, to keep my campaign organized. Now there are certain programs that you can use. World Anvil is a very, very popular one, and I liked it. I liked it as well, but I found OneNote was just a little bit more attuned to me, and that is my first one. It's completely free to you, Microsoft OneNote. If you need help with campaign management and keeping things organized, I'm telling you, it is an absolute lifesaver. And you can just keep everything in there. I've got all of my session recaps in there. I've got my party information, kind of what I want to do with them, with links on, let's say a certain NPC they pissed off or they befriended. I'll keep those notes in there. That way I'll go to my party file, click on whoever, and that way I'll have a direct link to that NPC. So that way if I need to bring them up on the fly, it's very, very smooth. It's quick, and it's been an absolute lifesaver. Up next is one that pretty much I'm sure everybody's known, but I love it, and I got to give them a huge shout out for the massive amount of works that they do on that site. But that is fantasy name generators. My goodness, they have everything. You need a name on the fly, got it. You need to create 10 NPC names in 1 minute, fantasy name generator. It is quick, it is instant, and it is all around. So you can go going through here real quick. I see World of Warcraft, Diablo pet, WoW Hunter pet names, Diablo, Guild Wars, Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, Starfinder, Mass Effect, Rift. I mean, it goes on. And they have done so much work into this, and it's completely free to everybody, and I highly suggest you use it. You never know, you'll come up with weird and fun names for yourselves, your NPCs, but they also have a bunch of other ones, like there's tavern name generators, magic shop name generators. In all honesty, I think this is one is very undervalued in how good it is, especially for me. I love coming up with settings and things like that, but I'm terrible at names. Full upfront, I'm atrocious at naming things. This site says single-handedly helped me with all of that. Plain and simple, fantasy name generators. It is just too good. And up next on the free tab again is pyromancers.com. This is a free, very basic Dungeon Painter Studio. So this is the basic version of it that you can go and test it out for free. I ended up buying it after using it for a while because I have made all of my battle maps on there. It's very quick, it's intuitive, it can be very, very detailed, and on the Steam there are a lot of workshops on there. The community has added tons and tons of assets for you to use at your table. I absolutely love it for battle maps, less so for world maps. I find because it's all pixelated within your... It's mostly all pixelated between your squares. Now you can choose different versions of those squares and hexes and things like that. But for straight up quality battle maps, I have fallen in absolute love with it. If you can, I think it's like $20 if I'm not mistaken for the Dungeon Painter Studio Pro. I have gotten my money over from it time and time again, but the free version is made available to anybody, and that's what I got started on, and I fell in love with it as well. So if you need quick free battle maps that you can make in 15-20 minutes, pyromancers.com. Again, all of these links are going to be in the description box below, so feel free to click on those. But I use Dungeon Painter Studio Pro for all of my battle maps, but you can get it for free on pyromancers.com. We've got WebpickersGuild.com. This is a blog site that's got tons and tons of downloadables and things like that for you. And then the one thing that I love the most are their monster tank cards and their player tank cards. I found them. I don't know where. I think it was on their direct site, but I know they used to be on Tumblr as well. So they had condition cards that you can download just for everything. They've got equipment cards as well that are very, very nice to have if you like those physical aspects at your table. But the one thing that I've used the most of theirs is their monster and player tank cards, for two reasons. When I prepare an Adventure League adventure, I like to have everything in a folder, so that way if I need to run it again, I've got everything there and I don't have to worry about knowing all of the monster stat blocks by heart, because they're all written on the back of these tank cards for the more basic stuff they can do, the type of attacks, some of the spells they know, their saving throws, and things like that. So I've already got stat blocks on these and ready to go, but they also make great initiative trackers. So one thing that I will do when starting an Adventure League adventure, especially if there's a new one or new people at the table, is I'll hand out blank tent cards for them. They can fill it out with their characters and what's going on, their names and things like that. But then that way when we roll initiative, so let's say they're going to fight a band of orcs and there is an orc claw of Luthic, a regular orc, and an orc eye of Groomch. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but oh well. That way I can place them on top of my DM screen in initiative order, and that way I can keep track of everything that way, and the players know what's going on too. They can see on my DM screen who's going when and where, but it also helps them at the beginning of the adventure before we start to feel included and to make their character feel a little bit more special, because they're writing it down. And they're not just writing it down for themselves, they're writing it down for the DM. So I thought that was a great way to include players, but it also makes for a great initiative tracker. So if you are struggling keeping track of initiative, or your players aren't paying attention as much, or kind of lose track, like, oh, am I next, or this or that, and telling people who's on deck all the time doesn't always work, the tent cards on top of the DM screen is a fantastic way to track initiative for yourself and your players all at the same time in a quick and easy system. It does require a little bit more prep on your part though, but it is well worth it when you do. And I can't speak highly enough of them. Is PrintableHeroes.com. Now this is both free and a payable subscription. I highly suggest you, so this is both goes in the free and the cheap category. PrintableHeroes.com offers a huge line of printable minis that are very highly detailed, gorgeous art, and there are free versions and paid versions as you get up in the tiers. I think the $3 one gives you access to pretty much everything. You higher in tier you go, you get more detailed files. But just $3 a month for their Patreon gives you over like, I think with the color variants, I think it's over 1,000 different minis that you can use at your table. Personally, it's the ones that I use most frequently. I have been making my own and I'm putting them out, but I don't have the back catalog that these guys have had from, obviously years of work. I don't know if it's these guys or this guy, perhaps the girl, I don't know, but their art is gorgeous, and I highly suggest that if you need a ton of minis at your table with very little time, Printable Heroes is the way to go, because not all of us have 40 hours a week to print an army of minis, to print and paint an army of minis. So maybe you don't have a 3D printer, but you got a regular printer at home. You can still print your minis. What I do for these ones here is I'll actually get dollar store like poster board. I'll cut out the main portions of it, and then I'll glue them on that. I'll cut them out all individually, and then I'll fold them, because they've got a front and a back side. And then what I'll do is I'll put them all there, and now I have, I think I've got like a big Tupperware full of all individual Ziploc bags of what I need. Orcs, dwarves, ghosts, they've got a lot, and they've got some of the bigger ones too. So one of the more recent ones here, as you can see, is the Hydra, but they also have a line of dragons. They have some giants as well, but I can't get over how well Printable Heroes does this. So if you're looking for something free or cheap to just put in mass at your table, printableheroes.com. They do fantastic work, and of course support their Patreon if you really love their work. It's not very much per month, and what you get out of it is worth every single cent. Now, one that I really love as well, so now we're going to start going into the cheaper files of this video, is dynamic dungeons. Now, this Patreon here is amazing. Now, personally, my setup is a framed TV that I keep on its side, so then that way I can put up battle maps. Now, these guys here that have an entire huge back catalog of beautifully crafted animated battle maps. So you just pull it up on the video, you hit repeat, and it's got like animals crossing through the forest, creeks, water sounds. They do an absolutely incredible job at detailed, gridded or gridless, you can download your choice as well, battle maps. They've got wizards towers and mountain cliffs and hideouts and caves, and it's incredible. And you get their entire back catalog on their Patreon as well. That one there will cost you a couple of bucks per post, but when you subscribe to an X tier, I think it's their middle tier, you get their entire back catalog as well. But these at my table, I've loved them. I've downloaded every single one of them since I've been a patron, and I love using them at my table. If I have something more specific in mind that I need an exact, this is my brain to map, I'll use Dungeon Painter Pro and create my own detailed battle map. But if it's something that I can use that's very generic, I have on hand, I have on my computer, just an X forest fight. Like, they get a random encounter in a forest, I'll pull up their forest map, and now we're going, and you see like the birds flying, elks kind of crossing along, and they're just, I can't speak highly enough of dynamic dungeons since I started using them at the table. Every single time I pull one of these maps up, it's just oohs, ahs, and everybody looking over and trying to see what they can see. It's, again, dynamic dungeons. Dynamic dungeons. Check out their Patreon, support them as well. It's just a couple of bucks per post, really, and I think I've got myself capped off on 2, which is usually what they put off, because I'm trying to be very, very budget conscious. But that's just something to keep in mind, because we don't all have thousands of dollars for all the Patreons and Kickstarters that we want to do every month. But this is a very inexpensive way to get an amazing product. So check it out below, hit that, and I hope you use it at your table, and because your players are surely going to be impressed. And lastly, now this one is, I'm putting this in the cheap file, although it can get expensive depending on what you want to do, and that is Dollar Store or Dollar Tree crafting. I have started, now, so there's a few YouTubers that I've watched that have really got me into wanting to craft at the table, and I have crafted quite a few things. Some of the things, like I've made my own dice tower made out of a Pringles can and Dollar Store foam core, some paint, hot glue, and make your own dice tower. Now, this is one of my recent projects. So this here is hot glue. This is still unpainted because I haven't figured out what colors I want to paint it yet. But this is, so my players in my home game might not notice this just yet, but it'll eventually come up. I've crafted it, I want to use it. So this is probably going to be a stone color, but I haven't decided what this is going to be. But this is hot glue in the middle, and this is Dollar Store foam. That's really what it is. Now on its last paint job, it's gonna, all the cracks and seams are gonna fill up a little bit. So this is just black Mod Podge and paint mixed together to harden it and make it work together. But this is, this entire thing cost me 20 cents of material. But 2 hours with my time, but 20 cents of material. And then once I get the paints going, it'll cost, this whole thing will probably cost $1 once it's done, and I'll have plenty more to work with. There are great crafters on YouTube. Black Magic Craft, one of my favorites. Wylock's Armory, Miss Cass. I can go on for a while. Those are some of those that just came to my head. Black Magic Craft I follow pretty religiously when he puts out anything as well. Whenever he puts something out, I'm pretty quick to hit that notification when it pops up on my phone so I can watch it. He is fantastic at both showing you how to make expensive crafts, because he does have quite a bit of expensive materials, but at the same time he shows you inexpensive ways to do it and tells you how you can do it with cheaper or inexpensive product. He does also do dollar store challenges, so then that way you can gain ideas based upon what you see there, and like, well, I like that, but I want it to be more like this, and kind of go from there. But it's amazing what you can start finding in your own home that you might have just said was trash or thought was trash that you can actually make something pretty cool out of. And those guys, the crafters that, you know, do this on YouTube, they are absolutely amazing. I'm not going to pretend to be to their level. I'm just not. But check out Blackmagic Craft if you want some ideas on how to make some fun, cheap crafts that really stand out at your table. Because it's nice to have the map and everything there, but when you can start putting physical objects on there as well to interact with that and complement it, I think it goes a very, very long way. Dollar Store foam core or Dollar Tree foam core, it's like just, it's poster board size foam that's like that thin, and peel off the paper and you can start working with it, creating bricks, walls, just a lot of things that you can do with it. And that has been one of my little secrets. I try and keep everything on a budget because I know how expensive this can get real fast, but it can be a lot of fun trying to, you know, say, no, I'm only going to spend $7 and I'm going to make these things, and sticking with it. And you start getting really creative and you know, a lot of DMs will know how creative you can get and how thrifty you can get as well, and making these things at your table that are just awesome. I've had a lot of compliments on some of the stuff that I've made. I've made barricades out of like barbecue skewers. Those are really, really nice. It took a little bit of work, but they turned out really nice. You can make bridges out of popsicle sticks. Blackmagic Craft has one that I've been wanting to try. You take coffee stirs and you make a goblin movable tower. Now the wheels were fixed on that, but it doesn't really matter because you're picking it up and things like that as you're moving it on your table. It's mostly stationary, right? But check those guys out, gain some inspiration for yourself and a little bit of creativity, and I am sure that your brain will come up with amazing things that you can put on your table. So that is everything that I've got for you today. Cheap or free or inexpensive ways to up your game at your table and start having a lot more fun impressing your players. I stream every Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Right now, it's a lot of World of Warcraft, but I've got some, I'll be playing Baldur's Gate 3 when that comes out as well. And Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern, starting September 27th of our wonderful 2020, is the Rime of the Frostmaiden Session 1. We just had the Session 0 last Sunday. And it went really, really well. It's a group of players that I've known for a very, very long time, so I'm already comfortable with them, and I didn't have to get a lot of the basics of Session 0 out there because we've been playing for so long. So it was just covering the premises of the adventure, the questions they had, optional rules. We're playing with maps for the first time, so covering things like that. Some character creations. They rolled stats. That was really, really fun, but I think Rime of the Frostmaiden is going to be an absolute blast to run, and I'm really, really excited for it, so check that out. Session 1 is Sunday, September 27th on my Twitch. Check that out, twitch.tv/Mazarok. Please, if you like this type of content as well, let me know by liking this, commenting, subscribing, hitting that bell. It really lets me know that I'm doing a good job and I need to do more things like this. If you want to maybe see me delve deeper into certain crafting or things like that, I can give you guys some tips and tricks there. And aside from that, I really hope your next session is a fantastic one. Have yourselves a good day.